Let's try this again. What's up? This is the officially unofficial geek channel. My name is Carrie Quinn, and this is the weekly comic roundup. Spoilertastic weekly comic roundup, guys. Hi, it has been a while. I have been through, I haven't been feeling well the last couple weeks. So that is my short and sweet explanation for my absence involving doing the whole comic book review thing. But I am here. I'm going to talk to you about the comics I read this week. Um, Little spoiler alert. If you do not listen to the show What's Happening Wednesday that I do with Joe, FYI, um, I didn't get like most of my, actually, like, I only got my big two books. Yeah, I only got my big two books. Um, so everything that, a lot of things that I was looking forward to, just I don't have them yet. They're gonna be here um, next week because Diamond, they're sitting in Diamond's warehouse, and Diamond is holding my comics hostage. And you know what's really funny is they know because my comic book, um, my comic book provider, um, uses the previews site, and yeah, and that's through Diamond, and apparently Lunar and Penguin and all of them were able to get us our comics, but uh, there's like books I was really looking forward to that are just not here. So we will go ahead and we will talk about them next week. But so we have a very short comic book review week. I could try to get into some of the other books that I've read over the last couple weeks that you didn't hear me talking about, but it's a big disorganized mess right now on my desk. There's still some that I'm catching up on. Um, so we're I decided to just go ahead and do the just this week's comics. With that in mind, go ahead, get yourself ready. We're going to do the Spoilertastic weekly comic review. But first, we're going to roll the intro just so you remember who I am. And let's do it. Yes, indeedy, guys. This is the Spoilertastic weekly comic review. My name again is Carrie. I am the officially unofficial geek. And let's go ahead and let's get into it. As always, we talk about these comics in no particular order until we get to the top 3 comics of the week. We do this in beautiful spoilertastic vision. So please note if you have not read your comics, especially from the big two this past week, please pause this video, come back to me later after you have completed. A little piece of fuzz in the background, just kind of like, ooh, like over on this side. That was funny. No, we do not have ghosts here. Um, anyways, yes, feel free to pause that video, come back to me later after you've read all your books, because I talk about anything and everything that I find compelling in these books, and that could very well contain some spoilers. So please be warned. It's Sunday, y'all. Read your books. Go ahead. Take a moment. Take a moment for yourself. Read your comic books and come back and watch me later. Unless you don't care about spoilers, and then we're all here, we're all good, and I am ready for you. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about Marvel's Storm, issue number 3. I was all ready to give up on this one. It really was. It was interesting. It was fun. Nice little retro like look to the story of Storm, um, with some new original kind of storyline, that kind of thing, related to older storylines about Storm, more like. Um, However, let's see here. Who did this? And in Marvel tradition, they don't put the names on the book, so I have to open it up because God forgive me, I do not remember everyone all the time on these books. Okay, this is part three. This issue is called Part Three: Mutant. Below back. Okay. Ann Nacinti, writer. Uh, Geraldo Burgess, artist. Andrew Dollhouse, colorist. VC's Ariana Mayer is the letterer. And let's see here. Let's Marvel, just put it on the cover. You're not gonna ruin anything. Give the people their creds. You know what? It's okay. There are plenty of things to complain about Marvel for than that. But anyways, um, so basically what's happening is I was all ready to kind of put this down and be like, put this aside and not read it anymore. However, I went ahead and I read this, and now I'm ready for the next issue. It's a very interesting situation here. Storm, who is the leader of the X-Men, just recently relinquished her post as leader of the X-Men to one. Let me see if I can fix this whole white balance situation here. That might look a little bit better. To Wolverine, because, or maybe the brightness is the problem. I think everything is just messed up because of the sun coming in. So, guys, sorry about that. But she has relinquished her post to Wolverine, because Wolverine was being a little bit either overprotective or what have you of her and her boyfriend Travis. He doesn't trust Travis, who just recently came into her life, and she's all like, "I love Travis." Um, okay. Anyways, whatever. Um, do people sometimes act like that in real life? Yes. Do people sometimes do that and it's okay? I mean, I'm not talking about what Wolverine did. I'm talking about falling in love that easily. Yes, sometimes it can work out. Do you often hear of times of it not working out over it working out, over times of hearing it work out? Well, that, yes, yes. You mostly hear about times of it not working out. I mean, yeah. Anyways, um, so Xavier is trying to get her to try to make peace with them, and he's also talking to her about some of her experiences that she's been having lately, involving feeling like something is off about her powers and about this other being that's kind of challenging her, and that they're trying to figure out, her and Travis are trying to figure out what's going on and what is happening. Well, Travis shows up while she's trying to make things right with the X-Men before she leaves, because she's convinced she has to leave and stop being Storm because of what's going on. So Travis shows up, "I've located the entity," and blah blah blah, and X-Men need to go, and it's just all of a sudden it's like, "X-Men, engage, yeah!" And so then the X-Men are like, "Let's go," and we're going, and yeah, and we're gonna go, and we're gonna not hold back, and we're gonna fight this entity. And it's only Kitty Pryde that's actually like, something's up here. Not everything is adding up, and maybe we should just talk to them. Novel idea, Kitty. Um, but this is an X-Men superhero book with Wolverine leading the X-Men. So, yeah, they pretty much knock out the entity. Rogue goes ahead and ungloves her hand. She goes to try and figure out if she can read any thoughts. Just real quick, not really going to hurt them, that kind of thing. And she realizes the reason why something felt a little bit, off or a little too familiar about this entity is because their memories mirror storms. So, guys, think about that however you want to. All right? They mirror storms. They mirror storm. They find one of the when Travis runs off. They find one of his nano neotech things there, and it appears that he's made a deal with the person that Mystique is pretending to be in the previous issue. And he's just like, we're going to be millionaires. And you got to come with me. You got to go with me. I want you to go away with me, Storm. She's like, are you really? And that's the end of the book. Yeah. Um, I'm interested to find out what the deal is with this being blowback. They are calling themselves blowback, and what the deal is and why they are actually like some entity version of Storm, um, and what that means for the Storm like Storm Prime. Um, so that might actually be something that's kind of kept me back on the hook a little bit. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. It might be a game day decision on that one, whether I'm actually buying it or not. We'll find out. Anyways, guys, overall, not bad. The thing is like there seems to be little moments in the writing where it's just like, no discussion, X-Men are off. Like I can understand kind of rushing that to keep the pacing, speed it up really quick, but like it seemed kind of sudden also. Um, maybe, maybe I'm not getting it. The design of Professor X looks a little bit odd in this, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Um, but these covers for this series have been like absolutely beautiful. Like this one right here, just gorgeous. Leo Kila, yeah, gorgeous. Hmm. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Um, I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, there is one more Marvel book that I read, and the rest are all DC. And they're all night terrors. And I would talk about the next Marvel book right away, except for it is, spoiler alert, in my top 3. So you guys gotta wait, and it's gonna be like a little break in the night terrors fun eventually, but we'll get there. Don't worry. So the next one that I'm going to talk about is DC Night Terrors Titans #1. Interesting story. We have a person that is kind of just roaming through this building, kind of breaking through floors and like getting guided by a voice. And you don't know until sometime into it who the voice is. And I gotta tell you something. I assumed that it was Insomnia. Like they were going to actually have Night Terrors Titans be a more direct tie-in to Night Terrors. Like typically, it's been that you can read just the Night Terrors with a little bit of exception. I think that there's certain books that are kind of a little bit more. You have the Night Terrors regular book, right? And then everybody else is like doing their Night Terrors, book, right? And the thing is, a lot of them can be just read and it's not that big of a deal and you can just do it, right? And some of them you can just read it, but it's just a really okay. How am I? Let me rewind for a second here. Hold on. Okay. You can do one of a number of things if you're wanting to give this event a shot. You can either read the basic Night Terrors book, right? That, few books that are happening. Um, And you could also read the Night Terrors book plus the tie-ins, like Batman, Night Terrors Batman, Night Terrors Wonder Woman, so on and so forth. Night Terrors Ravager, um, Night Terrors Harley Quinn, sitting there. Um, or you could just read the Night Terrors. You know what I mean? Like you either read the series and read everything else along with it, or you could just read the Night Terrors books and be fine. However, my personal opinion, based on some things that happen in some of the books, the there are some of these tie-ins that are beneficial to having read. Um, for instance, Batman. Batman's Night Terrors book, I feel like, is a pretty beneficial book to read, considering it does tie a little bit into um, what's happening in the main book. So the rest of them, I don't actually think you really need anything um, to understand the overall encompassing event. I was thinking, but back to Night Terrors Titans, I was thinking that that was going to be one of the books, that it was one of those things that was actually going to have insomnia definitely in the book. Um, but actually, the voice guiding this woman through the building was Raven. And Raven was trying to guide her to her and guide her actually through a maze and to bring her the rest of the Titans. Um, so that is basically where this is happening. Um, the voice, like I said, ended up being Raven guiding this woman. Nobody knows who she is through Titan's tower. It turns out they get outside and they look out. They look up, and Titan's tower looks like it's having a nightmare. Like the building itself is a big old nightmare, which was interesting. Is it needed to enjoy the rest of the story? Probably not. Though I do want to gauge. Let me give the creators their props. This is Constant Galuski and Cody with a Yannick Paquette and David McCaig cover. That's a lovely cover, by the way. I did really like that, even though there's no sign of Nightwing anywhere in this book, because Nightwing is dealing with his own stuff in his own nightmare, in his own book. And yeah, the design on this is interesting. But anyways, um, one thing I do want to gripe about here, just a little bit. When Dark Crisis ended, it seemed like they were really talking up the idea of Titans becoming the premier DC team. Then it took a bit of time to get the Titans book out, and a lot of it kind of started in Nightwing, and it kind of took over the Nightwing book for a bit. And then Titans started, and you have Night Terrors, where Night Terrors is pretty much kind of going to be, it seems like Night Terrors is kind of falling, and maybe I end up being wrong overall, but Night Terrors definitely looks like it's kind of falling to the overall like direction of the Trinity, which is, as you know, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, which are three of the main members of the Justice League, which is disbanded. But yet we were supposed to get Titans being kind of like the premier like big group in DC. And I'm really not seeing that much of a push for the Titans or fanfare for the Titans to make them the premier group superhero team of DC Comics. Uh, in the moment, that you get the idea to do some big event, you're falling back on the Trinity. Like, you could have very well had. I'm just saying, this is my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. I'm very much enjoying Night Terrors, as a story. I'm just pointing out the obvious that we were told the Titans, the Titans, the Titans, they've done barely nothing with them. Okay? Then when they have a big event, instead of having the Nightmare Stone hidden in Titan's Tower, or having John Dee's being found, that John Dee's supposed body being found in Titan's Tower, they have it found in the Hall of Justice. Hmm. I thought y'all were giving the Justice League a rest here, y'all. I mean, if you're giving the Justice League a rest, they've disbanded, okay, because of Dark Crisis and they need a break. Okay, cool, cool. And you're supposed to make Teen Titans, or excuse me, Titans, the premier DC crime fighting group. Why wasn't John Dee's found at Titan's Tower? Just a thought. Moving on. Next, we're going to talk about DC Night Terrors, Harley Quinn. Um, I've had a lot of complaints, some praises, but a lot of complaints in regards to the way Teenie Howard has taken over Harley Quinn. However, in this issue, didn't have any of those problems. Harley was smart, but yet funny, a jokester, prankster, yet intelligent, and none of that whole, oh my God, I just don't know what to do with myself without my poison ivy, without my Pammy. None of that. It was more of this, okay? More of this kind of Harley Quinn, please, please, okay? I love the concept that Teenie Howard has done with the idea of Harley becoming a professor. I myself have said that I would have done something like that if I were writing Harley, but a lot of this whole, pining for Ivy when Harley, yes, Harley loves Ivy, um, but was never ever really actually pining for for Ivy. And considering this is the first time, we've seen Kevin since the first issue, I think the first issue of Teenie Howard's run, and it's in the middle of a nightmare. More Kevin, please. More Kevin. Kevin is Harley's best friend, okay? And plus, Sweeney Boo like really draws Kevin. It's so adorable. I like the way she draws Kevin. Anyways, but the art in this is absolutely fantastic. There's two different stories. In the first one, Harley is basically facing her nightmares, and whoever is talking to her, I think actually because she was in Arkham Asylum, visiting, getting visiting her doctor. Okay, that's the way it was presented. She was visiting her doctor, getting a refill on her prescriptions, and all this was going down. And that's when she calls Batman. This is how that went down. Okay, I believe that happened in First Blood, and so I think actually the voice talking to Harley in her nightmare, I think because she was at the center of everything, we're gonna find out in the next one, is Insomnia. Insomnia is trying to find the Nightmare Stone in Harley's dreams. I think that she is, because she was there in the thick of it, she's being brought in on this. because she is in anything that he's thrown at her. Like, I'm assuming it's insomnia. I'm gonna go with the assumption it's insomnia that's talking to Harley in her dream. Um, Everything that he throws at her, she's just like, oh, come on, come on. I can take care of all these things. I can take care of all these motherfuckers like that. Okay, you don't get me. And I love that. I love that way. I love that idea of Harley. I love that. I love that. She's like, I am a silly motherfucker, but you don't get me. You do not get me. No. I love that. Okay? More of that, please. That is Harley Quinn. None of this, like, I don't know what to do with myself without my poison ivy. Oh, I do declare. No, none of that shit. Okay? Do this more. And more Kevin. I miss Kevin. I miss more Kevin. Anyways, okay, there's a secondary story that's really interesting in here. I know it is continuing in the second Night Terrors Harley Quinn. I'm looking to see that where basically it's Harley meets Harley. Kind of like what we were getting with that first issue of Harley Screws Up the Multiverse. Um, that I did not continue because of the way they made my Harley look. They made her look really dumb. And not like silly, dumb. Okay, sorry, they did. Um, so I did not continue that one. That will not be gracing my permanent collection. Thank you very much. Anyways, so we have Harley meeting Harley and having to work with Harley. But anyways, let's talk about the creators on this before I put this down. Overall, great, much better writing from Teenie Howard. Thank you. Okay, so like I mentioned, Howard, Williams, Sherman, Farrell, and Temple Smith. I think Temple Smith was that the artist on the second tale because it definitely screamed Temple Smith. Let me check. Let me check real quick before I put this aside, okay? Because whew, that art screamed Ben Temple Smith. Let me see. Like seriously, it screams Temple Smith. So hold on. Oh, it's gonna be at the end. What is Harley's number one nightmare? Being in the Justice League. I just think that's hilarious. So, side note for the previous, the first tale, Harley Quinn's number one nightmare is being in the Justice League. Okay. Leah Williams script. Okay. Ben Templesmith art and colors. Yes. It's cute. It really is. Like I'm trying to find like one of my favorite images, one of my favorite pages. Like probably the end. Oh, like right there. That one right there. I absolutely love that page. And that's another Harley. Um, Harley was. Let's talk about that for a second. Harley's number one nightmare is being a part of the Justice League. It makes sense. Harley's the kind of person who wants to work with Batman. She doesn't want to be on it. She doesn't want to be on the Justice League. She wants to be a good guy, but she doesn't want to be on the Justice League. Oh man. Somebody has really loud music outside. That's fun. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is yet another Night Terrors comic. It's Action Comics Night Terrors. Following along the same idea of the anthology type of concept, but we only have 2 stories as opposed to the normal like 3 or 4. We have a Power Girl story, So Power Girl, No Strings Attached, and Cyborg, Superman Rises. And let's see here. The Power Girl is Williams, um, Georgiev, and Gamares. I hope I pronounced all those correctly. If I did not, I apologize. But Cyborg Superman Rises is Johnson, Soren, and Fajaro Jr. This cover is Rafa Sandova and Matt Helms. Oh, the Harley cover. This is Hayden Sherman. Also pretty cool. Um, but anyways, back to Action Comics. So we have two stories. We have the Power Girl story where um, it's kind of it is a nightmare because everything is a nightmare, guys. Just run with it, okay? So Power Girl's having a nightmare. It's kind of like she's having a nightmare that she's back on Krypton, but then she realizes it's not what it seems. Then it seems like she's a machine being powered up, and it's kind of confusing. And then it seems like she's back in the situation where she's doing her empathic psychological work again, and then it seems like that's all going haywire. Um, and that the super cat blows a hole in someone, and I don't know. I read it. I could have dealt without it, but that's okay. The Cyborg Superman nightmare, where Cyborg Superman is the nightmare is basically Cyborg Superman is trying to take over Connor Kent from the Phantom Zone through the TV. Um, and he is terrorizing everyone. And that's basically the best way to describe it. Is the best and probably only way to describe it is he is terrorizing everyone um, in their nightmare. And yeah, so like the kids um, from Warworld that are now part of the super family are being terrorized by Hank Henshaw in their dream, their nightmares. That's basic the gist of it right there. That's it. Yeah. Anyways, it wasn't that bad of a story. It basically, the Power Girl story pales in comparison to the Hank Henshaw uh, cyborg Superman story. Um, but like a lot of the other ones, you can take or leave it in its connection to night terrors. Let's see here. We're down to our top three. So what I'm going to do is the top three are in no particular order, but we're going to go ahead and just talk about them. Just kind of break up the DC stuff. We're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about. I just jumped onto this book this month. I went ahead and I read the first issue of it. Speaking of Action Comics and Johnson's writing, Philip Kennedy Johnson, let's go ahead and let's talk about The Incredible Hulk #2. Philip Kennedy Johnson's come on to writing about the Hulk, and he's making it a very horror based Hulk where the monster is ticked off and the monster is trying to get rid of Bruce Banner so it could just exist without Bruce Banner. Um, but Bruce Banner is also fighting it off as well. I read the first issue and I went ahead and plenty of people's um, urging, read this, read this, read this. So I finally went ahead and did. I read both of them at the same time. This was actually really great, and I'm glad that people convinced me to read this. So basically, what you got going on is you got two little stories kind of colliding here, and you have the girl that's kind of running away from home that has the scar. She's been disfigured. And you have her running into Bruce Banner, who Bruce Banner is, um, I guess somehow you want to call it, running away from the Hulk, even though the Hulk is always in him. And the Hulk um, is, what's the word I want to use? The Hulk is, um, what's the word I want to use? The Hulk is being is kind of antagonizing him. That's the word, antagonizing Bruce Banner the whole way. Bruce Banner is trying to keep the Hulk down, and this little girl, this young woman, I would say probably like 16, 17-year-old woman, actually young woman, um, finds Bruce Banner, and she's like, "You're the Hulk. That's really cool." And he's like, "It's not cool being the Hulk." She's like, "People think I'm a monster anyway. It'd be nice if I could do something about it." She's talking about how, her scar, and she's talking about how, she has this horrible home life with her father is being like abusive and that kind of thing. She's just like, "Are you kidding? This would help me." And she doesn't quite get it, but you kind of get why, where she's coming from. Um, because of it, she's like, he's just like, the Hulk is hell, and she's like, "Hello, where am I coming from?" Like, this I come from hell, you know. So they get taken, and they are so that you got this whole other story. So you have those two side stories combining, and then you have this whole ancient religion kind of cult situation also going on. And so those two side stories collide with the girl and Bruce Banner and Hulk, right? And then you have those two combining into a story, right? And then you have the other story, right? Live long and prosper. You have the other story where um, it's this religious cult, and they're all kind of zombie like, and they're monsters, and Bruce Banner and um, the girl are brought to them, and somebody is like going to kill Bruce Banner, and the Hulk says to him in his head, "Yeah, they're going to kill you, and then I'll take over." And then basically what happens by the end of it. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how the teenage girl feels about the Hulk after all this. Um, because he is hulking out now, and we'll have to see where this goes from here. But yeah, that's where that is it. And it's like there's not a lot to really say about the storyline, but the Nick Klein's art and you know uh, Philip Kennedy Johnson. Philip Kennedy Johnson is a little bit different than what he did with Action Comics um, for a long time. Actually, Philip Kennedy Johnson's been on Action Comics for quite a while. Dude has been doing a mega run on that one, and good for him. Um, and now he's doing the Incredible Hulk. Gotta make sure that I had the adjective correct there before I said it, because I could have accidentally said, Immortal Hulk or anything dumb like that, and people would be like, she messed up. She didn't say incredible. But I got it right. Yeah. It's an interesting turn to see a more horror-based um, story coming from this person. Nick Klein's art has been phenomenal throughout these last two issues. I believe he's been on both issues. I believe. Hold on. I, before someone's like, that wasn't Nick Klein's work. I need to check and make sure because I can't remember all the time. Um, is this to say the whole anonymously placed, like Sister Sadie stuff with the song and that kind of thing. That's creepy as fuck. Creepy. Okay. Um, Old Time Religion, Part 1. Philip Kennedy Johnson. Art and colors, pages 8 through 11. Nick Klein. Color, Matthew Wilson. I gotta tell you, I like some of the color on this shit. Like, let me tell you. Where's, like, right here, the mixture of it's not quite a contradictory color thing on the color wheel, because orange I don't think is it's been a while since I've seen a color wheel, but I don't think it's contradictory like across the color wheel. The thing is like when you, not necessarily in physical art like flat art, but like particular like with makeup, like theatrical makeup, if you're doing a thing where you want to kind of um, impose a feeling of unease, what you want to do is you want to do things where you take a color on one side of the color wheel and you go on the other side of the color wheel. And that's kind of the two colors you base your look on. You have a highlight and you have a shadow. Okay, so this is kind of like that. There's this feeling of unease with that whole idea. So she's kind of having a dream, and she sees her father in the dream, right? So this is like to create that feeling of unease, with the two very interesting monochromatic color palettes. So like within like the orange, you have like it around three different values of orange. Within the blue and teal, you have like around three different values, possibly four, at least three or four values of the blue and teal, right? And that's representing just basically kind of like her nightmare. Um, and then you have this really this really dreadful looking like mixture of like the gray tones, um, the gray and silvery tones, and the purple. Like that is like that is some nice color choices. And it said like Nick Klein did the color choices from pages 8, did the coloring from pages 8 through 11. Let me look at this. Hold on. We're going to count pages here because, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Yeah. He did the nightmare. He did both. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. He did the kid's nightmare. Okay. And the young woman's nightmare. I call her the kid. She's like a teenager. I'm 41. Okay. I'm calling her a kid. Okay. Um, and then and then you have then you have Bruce Banner's nightmare, which is got some of the like you have Hulk, you know, standing over him, like this character over him in the water. Yeah, this is some of the best coloring in this was done in those few pages. Like the coloring's pretty spot on, the rest of it, but the coloring on those images in particular, those pages with the nightmares for both of them, holy shit. Okay, I love the use of color in those those pages in particular. I'm gonna say that with certainty. Um, so really cool, really cool. Glad I picked that one up. We got two more comics left to talk about. I know that I've got you guys here for 41 minutes already. I'm going to try to get through these as quickly as possible. It's DC Night Terrors books, just to let you know. Sorry, that probably made a lot of noise on the video, and I apologize if it sounded weird or gross or whatever, but I needed water big time. Anyways, so DC, Dawn of DC Night Terrors #2. This is the main title of the event. And this is basically centered around Deadman. He is inhabiting Batman's body because, well, it just kind of ended up that way. He wasn't intending to do it, especially since um, Batman Bruce Wayne hates when Deadman does things like that. Um, but yeah, Deadman is inhabiting Batman's body and trying to fight hiccups. Wow, trying to fight insomnia. And he's decided after looking into insomnia's thoughts that he is going to get the help of Golden Age Wonder, the Golden Age version of the Sandman. Yeah, yeah, there he is right there. Sandman, Sandman. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, anyways, I've been really liking the concept some of these books I've had lately of kind of like resurrecting golden age type era stuff. Um, for instance, I decided not to continue because of the price tag, The Brave and the Bold, but those first couple issues of The Brave and the Bold with the Tom King reimagining of the first appearance of the Joker has been awesome. And I'm eventually going to read at least that um, when it comes to completion. Um, Somewhere I'll find it. I got this, don't worry. Then you also, I really wish that the Superman story in The Brave and the Bold was better because it is bringing back Hop Harrigan. And I originally found out about Hop Harrigan because of I was reading the first appearance of the Alan Grant Green Lantern, and I found Hop Harrigan is one of the stories in there. And that's another Golden Age goodie. And now we've got the original Sandman, which is perfect. Basically, Deadman raises him from the grave, and here we go. You find out Sandman has a history involving dealing with the Nightmare Stone and other people involved in it. And you have him and Deadman basically going around trying to figure out what the deal is. Where is this Nightmare Stone? They have to find it before Insomnia does. And so they're doing their thing. Um, so you find out a little bit more of the history in regards to the Nightmare Stone involving what Insomnia is trying to do and why. And so you've got Williamson on this, naturally. Kamenikoli, Wingard, Wingard. I'm going to say Wingard because it looks like Vingard. Um, it looks Norse. The name looks Norse. So that's what we're going with. Nessie and Martin. This cover is Ivan Reese, Danny Mickey, and Brad Anderson. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So that's basically the gist of this next issue. We entering into the game, Golden Age era Sandman, and adding his expertise to the situation. Um, so yeah, there we go. That's it. It's very dry. I tried to spare you guys that time. Me caring about you. Okay, so we're down to the last book of the week for me to talk about. Imagine I had here 45 minutes already. Imagine if I'd got all of my indie books as well. Y'all. Diamond, you still suck. Anyways, this is DC Night Terrors Detective Comics. Of course, you knew this was coming. Okay, since I didn't get to read Seasons Have Teeth, at least I got a little bit of the Dan Waters here. This is Dan Waters, Federici Anderson, and this cover is Riccardo Federici. Look at it, it's lovely, it's wonderful. Now, Night Terrors Detective Comics takes a little bit of a route to kind of revisiting the second story, like the backup story that's been going through Detective Comics lately, which has been written by Dan Waters and centers around Jim Gordon. Yeah, okay. So it's a good story of Jim Gordon, and Jim Gordon has been kind of um, kind of like a side character in this whole Detective Comics Rom V run, and Dan Waters has been coming in here and writing the secondary tale of Jim Gordon and his role and everything that's going on here. So, in the story of the this tie-in, which is I'm going to tell you, it is not one of those ones that um, you have to read with the rest of the story. This is really just one of those things where it's like, I like Detective Comics. I like Dan Waters writing, so I'm still going to be reading this. Um, but do you need to read Detective Comics Night Terrors to get the entire story? No. This is really Jim Gordon having a nightmare. Par for course, like everything else, like Catwoman, like Poison Ivy, or Janet from HR, or any of these characters that are not directly tied to the main story. um, if Dead Man ain't showing up, you know for fact that it's um it's just off in its own little thing. But with that said, I love the profoundness of this tale. Now, you could get the profoundness of this tale, and it means something on a whole different level for you as a reader, um, as an appreciator. Or you could still just really enjoy this, getting it as a story and just reading it straight as a story, and not even like having the profoundness register with you. You don't have to worry about it. Okay? You can enjoy it either way. And that's what's really great about this tale. And what you have here is Jim Gordon is visiting his son's grave, and he's kind of ragging on himself a little bit about his son, ragging on his son a little bit, but he loves his son. And even though his son turned out to be a massive shit, um, there's no other really like easy and quick way to put it. Sorry, but so he's kind of like, I would love to fall apart, but I can't. You know, I would love to fall apart, but no, I can't. And like, that's definitely a thought in his head. He would be like, it'd be great to just be able to allow myself to not be the strong guy. And then he gets a text message from his daughter, and it kind of perks him up a little bit. He is aware of who Barbara is at this point. If you haven't been paying attention, he is aware that Barbara Gordon is Oracle slash one of the Batgirls. He doesn't know anything else besides that, but he does know that Barbara is who she is. Um, so there is that openness at this point now with both of them, and he just thinks, like, Barbara is just always really great. She's always there. She's always strong. I would, and again, you get the idea. He would like to just be able to be falling apart for once. And so then he encounters the boy that he's been kind of helping back at his place, and the boy is like, no, something's going on, we have to go look into this. And the boy calls himself Sorrow, so he calls him Sorrow. um, and this is something that gets established a while back. um, but the boy is like, no, we gotta go, we gotta do something. So they start, looking into this, and Jim eventually comes across this group of masked individuals calling themselves the Good Men of Gotham, are calling on these monsters to do something about everything going wrong in Gotham. And they all ask him for something. They all ask the God for something. Um, and they call themselves the Good Men of Gotham. Well, when Jim is in the room, the God acknowledges that he is a good man of Gotham. And even though he's not actively asking for anything, he's not saying, I wish to have this. He's thinking about it, and that's enough. So what happens is Jim starts falling apart, like cracking and falling to pieces. Because he wished he could just fall apart. That's cool. That's cool. And considering the fact that Diamond couldn't send the my freaking boom books, my boom, my image. I have a few other indies. Like I think I have one coming from Scout. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Can't remember the. I can't remember the. There's a book coming out called Rebel Girls. I really wanted to read, um, and it was supposed to be out last week, and I didn't get it because it's still sitting at Diamond. Anyways, since I didn't get to read my seasons have teeth, Diamond. I got to read this Dan Waters, and I'm very happy I did. I was going to anyways, even if I got my seasons of teeth. But that's it for me. So I kept you guys long enough. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you thought of this past week's comics. Um, if you're interested in hearing more about what I thought of the last month of comics, please check out Pop Culture Philosophers. Last Thursday, I was part of the um, monthly comic review. I've done that a few times. It's a lot of fun. It's like sitting around with friends talking about comics. It's really cool, and we record it, and it's live, and there's a live chat. So if you've never been in on the chat before, that's where it's at. Go check it out. Be sure to check it out next month, whether I'm on it or not. I hope so. I love being on it, so hopefully I can be on it again. And check that out. One. Two, if you're not following me on Instagram, that is really where it's at to get my random views on stuff. If you're interested, that's at officially unofficial geek on Instagram. Please note in the description, I do also have some written media. Check out my vocal media page. Information is down in the description. Um, yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm looking to start. I had been toying around with the idea of doing something called 30 to make a Whovian, which is 30 different arcs and or um, episodes to make a Whovian. It's involving Doctor Who. I've been playing around with the idea. I've even did a couple videos on here involving that, but actually I've decided. I think for sure I'm going to be doing something like that actually in written media on my vocal media page. So be sure to put that on your radar if you're interested in hearing about my 30 to make a Whovian, because that will definitely most likely be there. Um, other than that, guys, that's about it. This coming week, we're going to be going to Gen Con on Thursday. It's kind of up in the air whether we're going to have a What's Happening Wednesday, but me and Joe might just, jump on and talk about what we're excited about involving Gen Con, which is going to be happening the next day for us because we're going on Thursday, and be on the lookout for footage that I'm going to shoot while I am there. Yeah, I'm so excited. I haven't been to Gen Con in a while, and it's a lot of fun. So I can't wait. And so, anyways, that's it. So until next time, keep your eyes and ears open. If you see something, say something. And remember, the complacent never make a difference. Until next time, I'll be seeing ya. Bye.